Keanu Reeves is not the kind of legend announced by fireworks or trumpets. He arrived quietly, almost accidentally, and stayed by refusing to become what the world expected. For over 5 decades, he has moved through Hollywood like a guest who never fully understands the party but treats everyone with respect anyway. From the philosophical weight of The Matrix to the restrained fury of John Wick, his work has earned billions. Yet money has never been the point. What fascinates people is not the box office, but the man. The sense that behind the fame is someone deeply human, deeply aware of pain, and unwilling to let it harden him. At 60, walking red carpets hand in hand with artist Alexandra Grant, Keanu does not look triumphant. He looks peaceful in a way that feels earned. The question people ask is not how successful he is, but how he stayed kind. How someone who has lost so much still chooses gentleness, and whether that choice is the bravest role he has ever played. Born into impermanence, Keanu Charles Reeves was born on September 2, 1964, in Beirut, a city suspended between beauty and instability. Even his earliest days carried the imprint of movement and uncertainty. His father left when Keanu was 3, not gradually, not with explanation, but completely. That kind of absence doesn't just remove a person, it removes a mirror, a guide, a sense of grounding. His mother, Patricia Taylor, raised her children alone, moving between countries and marriages, doing what she could to survive. Home became something temporary, something packed and unpacked. Stability was never guaranteed. Raised often by grandparents and caregivers, Keanu learned early how to observe quietly, how to exist without demanding attention. The repeated goodbyes taught him a lesson most people learn later. Nothing is permanent. Not places, not people, not certainty. This early education in impermanence didn't make him bitter. It made him attentive. When you grow up knowing things can disappear, you learn to value presence. You learn to stay gentle with what remains. Struggle, learning, and finding. Refuge School was not a place of comfort for Keanu. Dyslexia made learning feel like a private battle, and frequent moves meant he was always the new kid, always catching up socially and academically. He attended multiple high schools, never quite fitting into systems designed for consistency. But while classrooms overwhelmed him, the ice rink did not. As a hockey goalie, he found clarity in responsibility, standing still while chaos rushed toward him, absorbing impact so others wouldn't have to. That instinct would echo throughout his life. Eventually, theater offered another refuge. On stage, he discovered the freedom of becoming someone else, of stepping into stories where pain could be shaped into meaning. Acting wasn't about fame, it was survival. It gave him language when words on a page failed him. It gave him structure where life had been scattered. At 17, he left school and moved toward uncertainty with purpose. He didn't know if it would work. He only knew he needed to try. Sometimes, courage is simply refusing to stay stuck. Hollywood without illusions. Los Angeles did not welcome Keanu with instant success. He worked odd jobs, slept on couches, and waited in endless audition lines where rejection felt routine. His first roles were small, forgettable to the world but monumental to him because they meant survival. Hunger was real. Doubt was constant. There were moments when returning home felt like the sensible choice. Then came Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, a film that should have been lightweight but revealed something rare: sincerity. Keanu's performance was goofy, kind, and unguarded, and audiences responded. Success followed, but it never changed his posture toward the world. Point Break and Speed turned him into an action star, yet he remained oddly untouched by ego. Fame arrived, but he didn't build his identity around it. He understood how fragile success was because he had known emptiness. When applause finally came, he accepted it with gratitude, not entitlement. Hollywood saw a rising star. Keanu saw a chance to keep going, to stay afloat, to keep meaning alive. Friendship and sudden loss. Among the few people who truly understood him was fellow actor River Phoenix. Their friendship was built on sensitivity, curiosity, and a shared discomfort with fame. They talked about art, philosophy, and the future, imagining long creative lives ahead. Then, without warning, River was gone. The loss struck Keanu with a force that words could not contain. Grief didn't arrive as spectacle. It arrived as silence, as stillness. He kept working because stopping felt dangerous, but something fundamental had shifted. The world felt less reliable, less safe. Losing a friend so young teaches a brutal lesson. Time is not promised. Keanu never sensationalized that loss. He spoke of River rarely and always with tenderness, refusing to reduce him to tragedy. Grief did not make him dramatic. It made him quieter, more careful with people, more aware of how fleeting connection can be. He learned that loving deeply comes with risk and decided it was still worth it. Family, devotion, and hope. While navigating fame, Keanu devoted much of his private life to his sister Kim, who battled a serious illness for many years. He rearranged his life to be present, attending treatments, offering care, and standing beside her when the process felt endless. Success meant nothing if it could not be used to help someone he loved. When his career reached new heights, he quietly donated to medical research, choosing anonymity over recognition. Eventually, Kim recovered. That survival mattered more to him than any award. It reminded him that love does not always end in loss. Sometimes it endures. Sometimes it saves. This period shaped his understanding of responsibility, not as obligation, but as devotion. He learned that showing up consistently is a form of heroism rarely celebrated. The world often applauds grand gestures. Keanu believed in quiet ones, in meals cooked, in hands held, in staying when it would be easier to disappear. Hope, he learned, does not shout. It waits. Unimaginable grief and endurance. Later, love returned in the form of a partner with whom he imagined a shared future. When that future was abruptly taken away, the grief was profound and deeply personal. Losing a child before ever hearing a cry is a sorrow without language. It fractures time itself. The relationship could not survive the weight of that loss, not because love vanished, but because grief became ever present. Then, not long after, another devastating loss followed. The repetition of tragedy might have destroyed him. Instead, it reshaped him. He did not numb himself or lash out. He continued working, not as escape, but as anchor. Acting became structure, a reason to get up, a way to keep moving forward without denying the pain. Keanu learned that grief does not end. It evolves. You don't overcome it. You learn how to carry it with grace. And somehow, through endurance, sorrow softened him instead of hardening him. That is not weakness. That is strength refined by fire. Fame without possession. When the Matrix redefined cinema and made Keanu extraordinarily wealthy, his life did not expand outward. It narrowed inward. He lived modestly, traveled simply, and treated crew members with the same respect as directors. He gave generously, often privately, understanding that dignity matters more than headlines. He shared profits with stunt teams, learned people's names, listened. Success did not make him feel superior. It made him feel responsible. Later projects like John Wick reinforced his reputation as an action icon. But behind the scenes, the same man remained, thoughtful, courteous, and grounded. He co-founded a motorcycle company, explored writing, collaborated creatively, but never built walls around himself. In a world obsessed with accumulation, Keanu practiced restraint. He understood that possessions do not protect you from loss. Connection does. Meaning does. The richest thing he owned was perspective, earned through survival, not privilege. Peace, love, and choosing gentleness. With Alexandra Grant, Keanu found companionship rooted in mutual respect rather than spectacle. Their relationship grew quietly, built on years of friendship and shared creativity. They do not perform happiness, they inhabit it. Two complete individuals choosing to walk together without erasing the past. At 60, Keanu Reeves stands as proof that life does not reward cruelty, but it does respond to kindness. He has known abandonment, grief, and uncertainty, and still chooses compassion. When asked about death, he once said simply that those who love us will miss us. That answer contains everything he believes. Love is what remains. Kindness is what echoes. Keanu's story teaches us that surviving is sometimes the bravest act, and that gentleness in a harsh world is not naive. It is revolutionary. If he can walk through loss and still whisper, "I'm happy to be here," then maybe we can too.